You think you're so important that we should pay for your personal trips? You're not. You answer to us, not the other way around. All right, welcome back to Come and Take It. Now, I talk a lot about how we have a rhino problem here in the state of Texas, and folks from other places wouldn't believe it.
You're right, I don't.
You know, if you're talking to someone from New Jersey, maybe you have a conservative from New Jersey or Maine.
Alphabet.
Or California, somewhere that like is pretty strong left-leaning or pretty hardcore Democrat areas, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Texas is so super conservative. No, actually, in the Texas House, we have a gigantic rhino problem, which, you know, under the leadership, those of you who are listening on audio podcasts, that's where I use air quotes.
You can't tell I'm being sarcastic.
Leadership of Dade Phelan. Texas, let's see. Texas still doesn't have school choice, okay? We still don't have meaningful property tax relief. I know, they're like, thanks for the bone that you threw at us. Thanks for the teeny tiny little relief that you gave us, that savings that you gave us on our property taxes, which of course means that we never truly own our homes, which is a total scam. Okay? We still don't have that meaningful property tax relief. We still haven't banned Russia or the CCP from owning our land and, you know, building wind turbines that can spy on us and spy on our Air Force bases. Don't believe me? Just go watch Red Power.
Will this nightmare end?
Okay. We still have porn in schools because the laws that they pass don't have enforcement mechanisms. We still have, or don't have, I should say, we still don't have a bill like they passed in Florida, which is commonly referred to as the Don't Say Gay bill, which we know is not, of course, a Don't Say Gay bill, but the Parental Rights in Education bill, where teachers aren't allowed to talk to their students, the children in their classes, not their children. That's the problem. They think that it's their children. It's not their children. It's our children. And they want to talk to them about their sexuality, about their gender identification, and all sorts of inappropriate business. We don't have that. Tell me why that is a parental education bill and Florida has it and we don't.
Yes, he's that lame. Tell him you're that lame.
All of those things are really embarrassing that we don't have. And many of them, and the fact that we don't have it, is due to, in large part, Rhino Dade Phelan's direction of the Texas House. Oh, but don't worry, they'll spend millions and millions of our taxpayer dollars to try to impeach and remove the greatest attorney general in the entire country. The greatest attorney general Texas has ever had, of course, Ken Paxton. They'll use your money, your taxpayer money, to try to do that. But meanwhile, they won't do any of the basic things. How embarrassing is it that we still don't have school choice? Okay, so they won't do all of those things. And that's a problem. But the problem is not just the policy. We don't just have a policy problem. We don't just have a platform problem. It's not just a gross, like, rhino, we're going to kick out the actual conservatives in the great state of Texas. That's not the only issue that we have. You see, Dade Phelan and his little cronies, as with a lot of rhinos all across the country, so Texas is no different, they think they're better than you. Dade Phelan thinks he's better than you. Dade Phelan and his cronies think that you answer to them, not the other way around. They've become these elitists who think that they can just take advantage of our money with no consequences, take advantage of their power with no consequences. And I'm sure, you know, if Dade is watching this, I would just say, Dade, you know what? Send this to Dade, please. Dade.Phelan, that's Phelan @house.texas.gov. I'll make sure that it's on the screen there for you. Send this video to him so he can see it, because at this point I'm going to address Dade himself. Hey, Dade, had any Bud Lights lately? Okay, but really, I'd love for you to explain this. A new investigative report by KHOU11 revealed that House Speaker Dade Phelan and I would say some of his, my characterization, not KHU's, some of his impeachment bros have used state jets for campaign activities, even though You're going to be shocked to hear this, even though according to state law, the jets actually are not allowed to be used for attending, quote, an event at which money is raised for private or political purposes, end quote. Well, KHOU 11 is apparently doing God's work over there. And according to their report, Dade thinks that he's above the law. Dade thinks that he's above the rules. Dade thinks that you, as hard as you work, that the taxes that you pay in this state should go towards carting him around, apparently. So, September 2022, according to the report, drunk Dade used a taxpayer-funded jet to attend a speaking engagement at the left-wing Texas Tribune Festival. But wait, there's more. He then used the jet to attend a University of Texas versus Texas Tech football game in Lubbock. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know the last time I went to a UT football game, which, by the way, UT is my team. Okay, so I'm using UT as the example. Do you know when the last time I went to a UT football game was? I can't actually remember because I'm busy working so hard to make sure that my family is taken care of because I live in an America in which my taxes are just... Here you go. Write another check to the IRS. Write another check to the IRS. Wait, how? What percentage of my income am I paying to you guys? For you guys to then turn around and use my money to go to football games? I can't go to a football game. I'm busy working to pay my bills, to pay my taxes.
Yeah, me too.
You see how that works? Now, Dade's office says the trip was to meet with tech officials, Texas Tech officials, and paid for by university donors. However, campaign finance records show that he accepted a $2,500 in-kind contribution for food and beverage for campaign event the day he got to Lubbock. He also had an $880 charge at a hotel for staff lodging for political fundraiser. Hold on a second. I thought it wasn't a campaign event, Dade.
Yeah, it sounds wild.
But it was all paid for. Wait a second. Did you drink too much Bud Light and lose track of your lies? That doesn't make sense because apparently this report that came out estimates that he raised at least $37,522 for his campaign on that particular trip. And I'm just saying, that's a lot of money to raise when you're not raising money. Isn't that peculiar? Isn't that curious? I'm not raising money except for the almost $38,000 that I raised. That's just a coincidence, though. It just happened at the same time. Ooh. It's like magic. It just poof. The money just it wasn't me. I wasn't raising the money. The money just appeared. Really? So apparently, I mentioned earlier, it's Dade and his impeachment bros, his little cronies. Apparently, Dade and his little lackeys think that they're above the law because it's not just Dade. It's not just Dade that thinks that you should pay for his or her personal trips. State Representative Jay Dean in Longview, for those of you who aren't familiar with Jay Dean, he used a TxDOT jet. That is Texas Department of Transportation, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the term TxDOT. Jay Dean used a TxDOT jet to attend his grandson's high school graduation last year. Oh, notably, Jay Dean also voted to impeach the greatest attorney general in the country, Ken Paxton. So we've got another impeachment bro here who thinks that he is above the law, who thinks that you should work hard so he can fly private jets, executive-style jets. That's what they have. They have like this batch of executive-style jets that are supposed to be used for state purposes only. Explain to me then, Jay, what was the state purpose of being at your grandson's high school graduation? Now, mind you, I just want to be clear here. I'm not saying that if you're a politician, you can't go do personal things on your own personal time. We all need to do family things. I totally understand. And really, I am, in some cases, a big fan of these people going and doing their personal things, especially when it comes to the federal government, because the more they're off doing their personal things, the less business they're, having they're intruding in my business. The less they're intruding in my business. So at certain points, I'm like, yeah, go do all your personal stuff and stay out of my business. But you can't do it with my money. You can't do it with Texans' money. That's not the way this works. Shame on you, Jay Dean. Shame on you, Dade Phelan. And here's another one, except with a twist. The curious case of Cole Hefner. By the way, Cole Hefner, that is Cole.Hefner at house.texas.gov. Let him know to watch this episode. Hey, Cole, you're a star now. Okay, quick question. Why do flight records show that you used my taxpayer money, our taxpayer money, to take a state jet to attend your daughter's graduation?
Busted!
I'm waiting. Cue the Jeopardy music. Is that official state business? No? You think you're so important that we should pay for your personal trips? You're not. You answer to us, not the other way around. So it turns out, Cole, maybe that love triangle and infidelity issue will end up being the least of your worries.
A triple burn.
Just saying. I'm not going to get into it, but Google is forever. So it gets even grosser with this Cole Hefner situation. So not only did he also utilize your taxpayer funds to gallivant across the state, doing his own personal thing, going to graduations, yucking it up with his family, and like, oh, I'm just going to use the state jet to jet right on back. Well, he did this on a particular day. It wasn't just any day. It was the day of the Ken Paxton impeachment vote. Now,
Mr. Sulu, begin a standard search pattern.
those of you who are huge political nerds, which, by the way, that's not some sort of an insult. I would consider myself to be a political nerd, although I know there are many of you who know much more than me, but I do geek out about politics. So that is not a slight. But that's just to say, those of you who are political nerds, you might already be thinking, well, hold on, wait a second. Cole Hefner, what I know to be true, is that Representative Cole Hefner voted that day to impeach Ken Paxton. And he has said since then, by the way, that he stands by that vote. So how could he have voted for impeachment if he was busy using our money to attend his daughter's graduation? Yes, that is, in fact, the curious case of Cole Hefner. See, Cole was too busy to attend one of the biggest events in Texas House history, which is, of course, the betrayal of Texas voters by voting to overturn our choice of attorney general. The betrayal of these House members to the Texas voters, saying, screw you, we don't care that you just voted for this man. We are going to try to vote, just a small body of us, vote to override your vote that you had in the election. So Cole was actually too busy. So how did he vote? How did that happen? Well, this investigation actually sheds some light on that.
We found another Texas lawmaker who flew out of town on a state jet, didn't make it back.
State Rep Cole Hefner said he was going on state business when he flew from Austin to Mount Pleasant that afternoon.
The House will come to order.
But oddly enough, the official record shows him on the House floor at 1:03 while he was still in the air. So how could he be in two places at once?
Can I ask you if you're recording right now?
We are.
Okay.
Hefner's office never gave us an explanation. But we found that supposed state business flight landed in time for his daughter's graduation.
This was a historic impeachment vote. This was something where you wanted to have members on hand. Being on the ground was critical in this period.
Perhaps that's why Representative Hefner tried to return to the Capitol. He's a registered pilot, and records show Hefner's single-engine plane took off from Mount Pleasant just after 3 o'clock and didn't arrive in Austin until 4:45, the same time as the impeachment vote.
Given these records, there's simply just no way he could have been there.
But even more odd, the record shows Hefner did vote. So what gives? Take a look. Another lawmaker reaches over to Hefner's empty desk to cast his vote. Here it is again. Hefner's not there, so his colleague punches the button.
Ghost voting. In the very rare instance that you're not on the House floor to do House business, to vote, because that's what you're paid to freaking do. That's what we elect you to freaking do. So I'll say on the rare occasion that you may not be on the House floor and you have someone vote for you, you're required to be in the building, Cole. You're required to be in the building. Cole wasn't. Flight records show that he wasn't. Part of the day, he was gallivanting around on your dime, essentially stealing from you, all while breaking protocol and disobeying the rules of the Texas House. And I do want to emphasize, essentially stealing from you. You tell me what else it is. When your taxes are only supposed to go towards these jets for a specific purpose, for a group, a set of specific purposes, and these people are like, I don't know, I feel like going to visit my family. I think I'll just jump in the jet and go over there, catch a graduation or two. This is the type of disgusting, elitist, swamp-like behavior that you will get from Dade and all of his impeachment bros. Now, the Texas House does have the opportunity to course correct at the beginning of next year, because at least 5 people now have thrown their hats in the ring to replace drunk Dade. All right? This is John Smithy, Tom Oliverson, Shelby Slauson, David Cook, and James Frank. I want to tell you, I want you to pick up what I'm putting down here. Out of those names that I just read you, neither Slauson or Smithy nor Oliverson voted to impeach Ken Paxton. The other 2 did. Now, to be clear, Tom Oliverson was not there, was not present that day. He was absent. So he didn't vote either way. He just wasn't there. Slauson voted against impeachment. Smithy not only voted against impeachment, but delivered one of the most epic speeches on the Texas House floor, talking to all of his colleagues, urging them, pleading with them, do not do this. Do not do it this way. This is the wrong way to do it. This is too fast. We haven't had a chance to look at all the facts. This is a rushed impeachment. It doesn't have to be that way. And they didn't listen to him.
It was legend. Wait for it. Dairy.
So that's how that all shook out, in case that matters to you. Now, the official vote for Speaker in the Texas House will take place on the very first day of the legislative session. That is January 14th, 2025. So I'm just going to let you guys know, plenty of time to do your homework on these people, get involved. I'm sure that we will be talking about all of these people a little bit more in depth in the coming weeks. But make sure your representative knows how you feel about voting for drunk Dade, or the prospect of voting for drunk Dade again. And we might, with all of this fresh blood, with all of these new energized actual conservatives, we might actually have an opportunity to make Texas great again. And believe me when I tell you, it pains me to even say that phrase, make Texas great again. Why isn't Texas already great? Well, in large part, due to the failures in the Texas House. Who has been in charge under these failures? Oh, that's right. The man who's using your taxpayer money to go fly around and attend campaign events. We've got better options, it sounds like. Let's do our homework, let's get active, and let's make sure that we hold our representatives' feet to the fire. Have a great week. We'll see you next time on Come and Take It.